Okay, let's just dive right in. You know that feeling, right?
Yeah.
You're scrolling maybe first thing in the morning, and bang, it hits you. This
Yes.
wave of, well, pastel-colored affirmations.
Oh, yeah. You're a magnet for miracles.
Exactly. Or vibe higher. Or my personal favorite, anxiety is just resistance to your highest self. And suddenly, healing itself, it's become this aesthetic. It's like wellness is performance art now. You've got the sage bundles, the perfect bullet jump.
Flawless morning routines.
Right. It all looks amazing, like straight out of a magazine. But it creates this intense pressure, doesn't it?
Right.
Where feeling sad feels like you failed somehow.
Or being angry means you're just, not doing life right. You're low vibe.
Yeah. So here's the big question we really want to dig into for you today. Are you genuinely feeling better, more whole? Or are you just feeling more pressure to look like you're healed, performing positivity?
It's such a fascinating modern symptom, truly. If Freud were here today, I think he'd be utterly mesmerized.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. Not because we've magically evolved beyond suffering, not at all, but because we seem to have perfected, well, repression.
Perfected repression.
We haven't really resolved our deep inner conflicts. We've just learned to filter them, rebrand them, turn them into, content.
Wow.
So let's face that really uncomfortable question, the one that might make your chest tighten up a bit just hearing it.
Okay, I'm ready, I think.
When was the last time you really, truly allowed yourself to just feel bad? Like properly miserable, lost, angry, exhausted?
That immediately trying to fix it.
Exactly, without jumping to reframe it, find the lesson, package it up neatly for Instagram.
Yeah.
If asking that makes you feel that little jolt of resistance, well, that tells us something, doesn't it? It tells us the defense mechanisms are working overtime.
That emotional policing
Yeah.
feels so normal now, almost invisible. Any tricky emotion gets slapped with a label, right? Toxic, self-sabotage, and then you just end up blaming yourself for feeling, well, human. But hang on, let me just push back a tiny bit here. Isn't some positive reframing just healthy? Like resilience? Where's the line?
That is the crucial distinction, isn't it? Resilience involves actually processing the pain, moving through it. Repression, it just banishes it, sends it into exile.
Okay. Yeah.
We're talking about a core defense mechanism here. And in this context, this relentless positive thinking, it becomes a symptom itself, not a strength. It doesn't heal the trauma. It just sort of decorates around the edges.
With crystals and affirmations.
Exactly. It feels like freedom, but it's actually a cage. Safety disguised as liberation. And that, fundamentally, is classic repression.
We see it constantly. Like, we all kind of know that person. Maybe not a real Sarah, but the type.
The archetype.
Yes. Posting daily affirmations, manifesting abundance like crazy online. But then secretly, maybe they're sobbing over their perfectly made oat latte.
Or Googling how to stop feeling empty inside at 3 in the morning.
Right, because they hate their job or feel totally lost.
That Sarah is caught right in the middle of a fierce psychic civil war. And this is where Freud's model, the id, ego, superego, it's still so incredibly useful.
Okay, break that down.
Well, her superego, that internalized voice, maybe it sounds like her favorite guru or the wellness industry or just general culture. It's constantly screaming, be positive, be grateful, manifest.
The inner critic, but spiritualized.
Precisely. Meanwhile, her id, that raw primal core of desire, pain, maybe even rage, is just whispering, I'm so tired, I'm lonely, I just want to quit.
And the ego is stuck in the middle.
The ego, yeah. Its job is to mediate, to manage reality. But faced with this impossible contradiction, it often just defaults to performance.
So it posts the affirmation.
Buys the expensive wellness gadget, calls it self-love, puts on the mask.
Right, the mask.
Yeah.
And that frantic energy you feel sometimes trying to keep that mask perfectly in place, that feels desperate.
It is desperation, and that specific kind of performance, that overcompensation, Freud had a name for that too, reaction formation.
Yeah.
It's when you're so deeply uncomfortable with or terrified of an unacceptable feeling, maybe anger, maybe envy, maybe deep insecurity, that you forcefully express its polar opposite.
Like hating your job but constantly posting about your passion projects.
Exactly. Or being terrified of failure but loudly declaring, oh, I attract success effortlessly. It's not about being delusional necessarily. It's frantic, yes, but it's the psyche desperately trying to manage an unbearable internal conflict.
And wow, has this desperation been packaged effectively? You scroll through social media and the whole healing journey thing is practically its own content genre now.
It really is.
Trauma gets aestheticized, breakdowns somehow become monetizable content, like those posts, I healed my abandonment wound in 30 days. And there's a time-lapse video of them journaling in like expensive linen pajamas.
It's emotional capitalism in full swing. You know, Freud talked about sublimation, channeling those raw, deep drives into something productive, maybe art or science. He saw that as quite noble, actually. Today's version feels almost inverted. We seem to redirect that inner chaos, that real pain, not into quiet integration, but into outward-facing content, performance.
And the algorithm loves it.
The system rewards packaging your wounds into sellable products. It doesn't really reward the slow, messy, often private work of actually healing.
So if we're all sort of living this performance, what's the hidden cost? Emotionally, it often feels like guilt, a crushing kind of guilt.
That's the psychological trapdoor, absolutely.
Yeah.
This cult of positivity sells you the idea. You create your own reality, which sounds empowering, right?
Yeah, on the surface.
But the flip side is insidious. If your reality sucks, well, that's your fault too.
Ouch.
And that leads directly to what psychoanalysts sometimes call moral masochism. It's this perverse kind of self-blame, but it's cleverly disguised as empowerment or taking responsibility.
Can you give an example?
You hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Some get sick and they say, oh, I must have attracted this illness because I was holding on to negative energy, or my job is toxic because I wasn't manifesting strong enough boundaries.
Right, ignoring maybe systemic issues or just bad luck or biology.
Precisely. It puts the entire burden onto the individual self. You end up feeling morally obligated to suffer almost, and you call it doing the work.
So the modern superego, that inner critic, it's not the old-fashioned parent figure shaming you for sinning anymore.
No, it's more like the spiritual boss or the life coach shaming you for not being optimized.
Wow, not optimized.
It's a kind of spiritual gaslighting, really. You're blocking your abundance. You're not vibrating high enough. You're not holding space for miracles.
Oh, that sounds exhausting.
It is, and that relentless pressure to optimize, to control everything through mindset, that leads us straight into the whole manifestation craze.
Yes. Visualize the dream job, script the perfect relationship, speak it into existence.
All that activity. When we're doing that, what are we really deep down trying to manifest?
It feels like safety, validation, proof that we're okay, that we're lovable maybe, that the world isn't just random chaos.
Exactly. You've hit it. From a Freudian viewpoint, we can see manifestation as a form of wish fulfillment. It's the very same psychic mechanism that drives our dreams at night.
So we're staging a fantasy.
We're staging a fantasy, yes, often to soothe a much older, deeper wound. We're seeking security, validation, and it often involves symbolic substitution, meaning we replace the raw, perhaps terrifying core desire like the unspoken plea, please, please don't let me feel worthless, with a much more sanitized, socially acceptable statement.
Like, I attract perfect opportunities.
Precisely. It feels safer to want the opportunity than to admit the fear of worthlessness. But here's the catch.
There's always a catch.
The unconscious, the ID, it doesn't really care about your vision board. It doesn't read your affirmations.
Uh-oh.
And if that deep unconscious material isn't allowed to speak, if it's constantly repressed, well, it doesn't just disappear. It finds other ways to scream.
Through the body, through our behavior.
Exactly. That's the inevitable return of the repressed. The truth will out, one way or another.
So the body really does keep the score then. It becomes the ultimate truth teller.
It often does. It's like a built-in somatic check.
Yeah.
If you're rigidly denying anger, for instance, just refusing to feel it, it doesn't vanish. Maybe it leaks out sideways as chronic back pain.
Or passive aggression towards your partner.
Or that, yes, buried grief. We often see that manifesting as chronic fatigue, sometimes even autoimmune issues flare up. Unacknowledged envy might morph into a kind of spiritual superiority complex.
Wow.
And the libido, not just in the sexual sense, but as Freud meant it, the fundamental life force, the psychic energy, that energy is still active. It has to go somewhere.
So journaling, instead of screaming your rage out loud.
That's containment. It's managing the energy, not necessarily processing the root cause. Lighting that abundance candle when you're terrified of scarcity.
That's
displacement. You're shifting the focus of that powerful fear onto a ritual object. It feels like doing something. It feels like magic, maybe. But it's often a way to avoid confronting the raw terror itself.
Man, even just talking about all these defenses, it's making me feel tired. It must be absolutely exhausting keeping that performance of wholeness up, like 24/7.
It is incredibly draining.
And you can, name all your attachment styles perfectly, talk the talk, but still completely panic when someone actually gets emotionally close.
And that gap right there, that's often where intellectualization comes in as another layer of defense.
Knowing all the terms but not feeling the feeling.
Exactly. Awareness or accumulating insights without genuine embodiment, it's just another mask. A very sophisticated mask, perhaps. You can perform being aware, perform doing the work, without ever having to touch the messy, vulnerable core feelings that actually drive the patterns.
But the symptoms don't lie?
The symptoms never lie. The anxiety, the insomnia, the compulsive scrolling, the relationship patterns. That's the truth speaking, the perfectly curated Instagram feed. That's the propaganda.
Okay, this is getting uncomfortable. What about the part of us, and this is unsettling, the part that maybe clings to the wound, the part that doesn't actually want to heal?
Ah, yes. The secondary gain. This is crucial. On some level, suffering provides the ego with certain benefits. It's a powerful security blanket, strange as that sounds.
How so? Benefits from suffering.
Well, it can provide a strong sense of identity, right? I am the survivor. I'm the one who's been through things. It can foster community bonding with others over shared trauma or doing the work.
Okay, I see that.
It can even offer a sense of control, paradoxically, or even moral superiority. I'm more evolved because I've suffered and I understand pain. To actually heal, to let go of that suffering identity, well, that means confronting a terrifying void. Who am I without this story, without this performance of recovery?
That's deep. And then, maybe even worse, is when we keep repeating the same painful patterns, but we convince ourselves it's growth this time.
Oh, absolutely.
Like leaving a really toxic job environment.
Yeah.
Only to start your own business where you work yourself into the ground, total burnout, but now you call it passion and hustle.
That is the relentless, often unconscious pull of repetition compulsion. It's one of Freud's most profound and unsettling ideas. The unconscious doesn't manifest what you consciously want or affirm.
It manifests.
It manifests what it knows. It pushes you to repeat your earliest learned defense mechanisms, your earliest relational patterns, even if they are painful. We don't manifest our highest aspirations. We often manifest our deepest, most familiar emotional patterns. We return to what feels known, even if known means hurt.
Wow. Oh, okay. So pulling this all together, the real goal isn't this relentless pursuit of happiness, this forced positivity. It's something more like wholeness.
Exactly. Wholeness.
And the dark side of all this shiny, happy wellness culture is that it's fundamentally incomplete. It gives you a mask and tries to convince you it's your actual face.
Beautifully put. It denies half of the human experience.
How do we have to? Well, performing recovery.
I think that's the first step. The unconscious, that deep core of you, it doesn't want your polished performance. It wants your presence, your honest presence.
Even with the messy bits.
Especially with the messy bits. The real path towards something like liberation or integration. It starts when you can finally stop forcing the gratitude, stop frantically reframing the pain the second it appears, and just let the emotion be.
Just let it be.
Let the sadness be sad, let the anger be anger, let the fear be fear, without immediately needing to fix it or pathologize it or monetize it or turn it into a spiritual lesson. Just sit with the raw truth of your experience for a moment.
That sounds terrifying, but also necessary, like a kind of homecoming, as you said earlier.
It is a homecoming. It's coming home to your actual self, beneath the layers of performance. So maybe the question to sit with for you listening is this. What fear are you currently dressing up as faith? Or as wellness? Or as positivity?
What fear am I dressing up?
That's the question to ponder, because ultimately, yes, the psychoanalytic insight holds. The truth will set you free, but first, it will likely piss you off.
Probably.
And scare you. And maybe break your heart a little. But that vulnerability, that discomfort, that isn't weakness, that's not failure. That is simply the feeling of being fully, complexly, honestly alive.